We have Will DeHaan from the HipChat team. That's Will.
Hi, guys. I really appreciate everyone sticking around. Like a lot of you, this is my very first AtlasCamp, and I'm really impressed with the caliber of developers and entrepreneurs I've met. And Berlin's like one of the best cities in the world, so tremendously exciting to be here. I've been with Atlassian for 1.5 years, and I've been focused entirely on HipChat Server. So it's an interesting project. Clear? Oh, right here. It's an adaptation of a large distributed Amazon app. So HipChat is a very unique product in Atlassian compared to so many others, right? It targets different users. It started out as a cloud app. It was an acquisition, so it's not on the same Java platform as everything else. So I'm going to talk about add-ons for HipChat, but I want to give some prerequisite knowledge and to help you understand the scope change of HipChat versus Jira, Stash, etc. HipChat's globally used. We have native clients. So the native clients means they're not web browsers, right? You've got XMPP coming through, which means we're not running a fat JavaScript client. Can't really treat them as you would web interfaces for the other products. We have multimedia now, in addition to text, search, file attachments, management. Video, one-to-one screen sharing, and I've recently seen group video prototyped, so I'm pretty excited to see that come together. OK, this is like the simple slide, right? There's a whole lot more users out there who aren't developers. So when you go to make add-ons, you may have the mindset of sort of reproducing some of the extensions you've done for other Atlassian products. But I would love it for you to take a step back and consider what accountants like to eat for lunch and other ridiculous things like that. Because I'm always surprised by what customers we have for HipChat. We have like retail shops, eateries of different sorts. They just like to keep their teams in touch. It's nice to get mobile notifications. Where are you? Are you late? What's going on? This is one of my HipChat Server instances. And this is a really boring developer use of HipChat Server, or HipChat in general. I see build notices. I can keep track of what Bamboo is doing. It's kind of basic and lame. Developer view. But for the non-developers, what do? They pipe Reddit feeds into there, and they get really accustomed to easy, casual chat between teammates. And dropping the barrier for communicating with your team really brings people together, especially when you're globally distributed, regardless of industry, right? So again, this is a plugin right here. This is an internally developed, full webhook-based plugin with a Reddit integration that'll just go out and pull my favorite feeds. Not very technical at all, not really developer essential, hey? But it does help the team. Yep, cloud. Standard nomenclature for Atlassian products, cloud, your SaaS. That was first, well over 100 servers at Amazon, generally hosted US East. Now server, I like to move away from the BTF nomenclature a little bit because server is available as a download image, but it's also available as a reference for your own Amazon cloud, like a VPC or so. So BTF is now like your cloud too. So things are progressing in a nice modern fashion. Integrations. The majority of integrations to date have been using first generation API, REST only, 2 token classes of post messages to rooms, or be able to manage everything. And the tokens are only set up by admins. We have over 100 published integrations out there, and well, they could do a lot more. Really, they're sorry, what's that, guys? OK, so far these integrations, yeah, these can be developed into add-ons. So right now, it's fairly crude management. You've got token passing on the API v1. You've got to copy and paste tokens typically when you're performing these integrations. API v2 is out. It's much more sophisticated in scope and context. REST and webhooks designed for Atlassian Connect, of course. The two APIs coexist on the HipChat.com and HipChat Server as well. Let's have a look at the tokens for API v2. We've got room scopes, and we've got personal scopes here. Every user of HipChat, whether an unprivileged user or an admin, is able to create tokens. So every user of HipChat with API v2 is able to start developing integrations. You don't need permission from anyone, right? So everyone can get going on it, which is a nice boon for integration development. Yeah, summary of API v2 here. We've got sessions, native language bindings we've published, Node, Perl, Ruby, Python, .NET. Of course, all your messaging, your history, rooms, stats, and it's under active development. API v1 is not. So, okay, we go. That's enough prerequisite information to go look at a reference add-on. I've selected one here. It's HipChat Bitbucket connector. It's Apache licensed. It's written in Python. Actually, we're deploying it on Heroku now, but it can go out on AWS as well. Flask framework, so it's sort of standalone as a service. This is an interesting add-on because it interfaces two different services and has to manage two different auth sessions, establishing webhooks from Bitbucket and relaying the data across. So this was just open sourced last week as reference for this conference. So everyone should fork this, start grabbing code. Apache license is pretty flexible, right? You can really use that with very limited incumbents. All right, so let's go through how a HipChat admin would go ahead and install one of these add-ons. So this is a HipChat administrative view. Now this is a web interface right here. And on the top you see some folder tabs. My account, it's a personal scope. Group admin, that's for managing users' room level operations. There's a third tab there, server admin. Those are platform controls specific to HipChat Server. On the second tier of folder tabs, you see API in the middle. That's API v1, and the add-ons all the way on the right. And that's, well, API v2 based. You can go to manage and view the existing add-ons you have installed. The font's kind of small here, but you can see if it's installed on one room, many rooms, et cetera, the type of add-on that it is, and then also security scopes. Being able to view history or be able to access other granular data. So there's add-on discovery within HipChat. This is awfully convenient. So your marketplace listing for HipChat is present in the product here. So we're getting quite a bit of traction with HipChat admins pulling in like this. Oh, man. Here's an add-on descriptor. Anyways, the important thing with this descriptor is that there's a URL. There's some callback URLs for the installation process. And at the very bottom of the screen, there's a configuration callback here. Marketplace, this should be old hat for most of you, right? Have a vendor account. There is HipChat as a product. What's interesting for these listings for HipChat add-ons is there's an install button that will bring you to the descriptor URL. You could copy that and paste it into a HipChat server, or you could click on a link in the application details that will immediately bring you into the HipChat administrative UI. Boom. In this view, the background is what's shaded. That's served by a HipChat. The pop-up window right there on the installation pane is still HipChat, but it switches context to the add-on. So right now this is the add-on expressed a room scope. So when you go to add it here, it's asking for a room. By default, there's an everyone room with server, so we specify that and continue. Here we have security requirements. This is kind of like upgrading apps on your Android phone. You see the list of what else it wants. Go click install to confirm. Double click. All right. So at that point, the add-on is installed. Jumping back to some code, we see what's happening here. We've got authentications. When you jump to the HipChat UI, if you haven't authenticated, you authenticate then. And at that point, your session is established. OAuth bearer tokens are generated and saved in the add-on. The add-on uses Redis. So here's a highlight of some code just describing some of the scopes that are applicable to HipChat here. So allow room and allow global up top. And then there's reference to room IDs as well. And you want to track that in your data store, right? OK, back to the HipChat admin view. We have a list here, manage our add-ons. It's showing this one HipChat Bitbucket connector. We click that link. And we see the bearer token issued to it, whose fault it is, that's me. And we have a configure link. Clicking that configure link brings up a pop-up dialog. This here, that's an iframe, and this content is served by the add-on at this point. We authenticate through to Bitbucket. At this point, we have access to go ahead and define webhooks at that end. That's handled by the add-on. We do it just by specifying repositories here. So specify one repo. Oh, there it is. Specify another one. We'll click done, what have you. Done. OK, back in the code here. We have a configuration response. So, the add-on itself is serving up this web content. And that's it. There was enough configuration. The add-on is responding to various webhooks calling back. So as far as HipChat is concerned, boom, add-on's configured. But the add-on here, you can see how it's looking for, hey, commit posts. Respond, parse it out, forward the notices over. All right, that's one walkthrough of an add-on for HipChat. The add-ons are really in their infancy. API v2 is fairly mature. It still has a beta tag, but we're going to drop the beta moniker pretty soon. It's been quite stable in the field, so I think it's quite a success in that manner. This ties back to JML's keynote here. We have a couple of extensibility options for future development, right? That green panel, something like iframe, add-on extensions. Since the HipChat clients are native, we have to sort of make them hybrids to be able to accomplish this. So we've just introduced some hybrid web and native capabilities through in-app search results. So using a similar extension, we'll be able to expose configuration controls for your own add-ons. API v2, it's under development. I want things like data import, search. We want to move more of actual basic HipChat functionality to run right through this API ourselves, right? Let the clients take advantage of it as well. As far as Marketplace is concerned, we can't collect revenue right now for add-ons. You can go ahead and sell them yourself and distribute the add-on descriptor URL and have your own licensing. Great, make some money, please. But it'll take a bit of time, and Marketplace will be able to collect money in the future. Mobile developments, we're working really hard to make the mobile more efficient, more responsive, and much better on your battery. Your add-ons will have to consider mobile data usage patterns. This is a bit different from other Atlassian products as well. But basically, if the app isn't running, you're probably not going to be able to pull a lot of traffic, not without some special permissions. All right, so the future is, honestly, I have no idea what sort of stuff is going to be written between now and next year. Sky's the limit because the market is, like I said, incredibly broad. There's companies around San Francisco that get warnings when their kegs in the neighborhood pub are running dry, or when the favorite food truck rolls up to the local joint. So, it's a different flavor, but broad communications, JML demonstrated translations, localizations, really neat stuff that can happen. Multimedia, we'll keep progressing that as well. Well, that's a wrap for me. please do contact me. I'll hang out here for a couple hours after the close, and please do find me. I'm the only short blonde guy with the shirt on, so thank you very much. It's so nice.
Any questions for Will?
Yeah, I can answer well, most subjects of HipChat. Add-ons would be thematic.
All right. Oh, wait.
Right now, do you have any extensions in the UI? Well, I was asking around, and several people told me, yeah, you can do your manual, your custom configure area. I've tried to do that, and I found out that it's in the server side right now,
yeah.
not on the client.
Well, there's extensions to XMPP for formatting and things like that, because we're pushing chat messages around. But you can go ahead and get some limited HTML via XHTML or something. Yeah, there is an XMPP extension, and just this spring, we incorporated it to handle some better formatting and things like that. So you're still starting with a chat message, but you're able to get slightly more sophisticated content. So we're working bit by bit. It's not like an iframe, but it is a more descriptive chat message rolling through.
So what might render inside a message?
Inside a message? Well, the server side does a lot of media identification, thumbnails and things like that. That's hard to extend right now, or you can't. You can reference snippets of, you can reference hyperlinks and extremely limited HTML. There's no rendering or CSS or anything like that.
I see. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any more questions for Will? OK, we're going to take a short break, just a couple minutes, and then we'll have Nick up here to close it out. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.